Reacher Season 3 has finally revealed the intricate criminal web at the heart of its story. After 6 episodes of carefully placed breadcrumbs, we now understand Xavier Quinn's operation and how each villain fits into his dangerous enterprise. Today, we're breaking down the complete hierarchy of Season 3's criminal network, from Quinn's traumatic past to his desperate present circumstances. At the center of Season 3 stands Xavier Quinn, a former military intelligence officer whose criminal activities date back to his service days. Initially introduced as the mysterious Julius McCabe, Quinn has established himself as the mastermind behind a sophisticated arms smuggling operation, using Zachary Beck's rug importation business as cover. Quinn's origin story reveals a man who has always viewed rules as optional. Even during his military career, he sold classified information for personal profit until Reacher and Cole uncovered his treasonous activities. After Reacher shot him in the head and pushed him off a cliff in retaliation for Cole's murder, Quinn miraculously survived when the bullet lodged in his skull rather than penetrating his brain. The series implies that Quinn suffered memory loss from his near-death experience, explaining why he doesn't recognize Reacher upon meeting him in Episode 6. Despite this second chance at life, Quinn doubled down on his criminal pursuits, creating a new identity and building a weapons trafficking empire through intimidation and violence, rather than legitimate business dealings. Quinn's control of Beck's operation wasn't achieved through partnership or negotiation, but through brute force and terror. In a revelation that recontextualizes the entire season, we learn that Beck was already running his own successful arms smuggling operation disguised as the bizarre rug business. Before Quinn appeared, rather than building his criminal enterprise from scratch, Quinn simply identified an existing operation and seized control through extreme violence. He kidnapped Beck's son Richard and cut off his ear as a demonstration of his ruthlessness, forcing Beck to surrender control of his business and operate as a figurehead, while Quinn pulled the strings from behind the scenes. This hostile takeover methodology reveals Quinn's opportunistic nature and preference for intimidation over innovation. Instead of creating value or building relationships, he simply identifies vulnerabilities and exploits them through escalating violence, a strategy that proves both effective in the short term and dangerously unstable in the long run. Quinn's operation faces mounting pressure due to his financial entanglements with the Russian mob. To finance his takeover and expansion of Beck's weapons trafficking business, Quinn secured a black market loan from a dangerous Russian mafia figure named Takeover, creating a deadline-driven urgency to his criminal activities. This financial pressure explains Quinn's increasing paranoia and volatility throughout the season. When shipment delays caused by Red Sea weather conditions threaten his ability to complete a crucial sale, Quinn grows increasingly desperate, knowing the consequences of failing to repay his debt to Takeover would be fatal. The Russian mob connection adds a layer of vulnerability to Quinn's operation that Reacher could potentially exploit. With Quinn caught between placating his dangerous creditors and maintaining control over Beck's operation, his attention is divided and his judgment increasingly compromised, creating openings for Reacher's undercover infiltration to progress. Quinn has established a clear hierarchy within his criminal organization, with different players fulfilling specific roles while maintaining absolute loyalty through fear. Quinn himself maintains tactical distance from the day-to-day operations, working through intermediaries and enforcers to minimize his direct exposure to legal risks. John Chapman Duke functioned as Quinn's primary lieutenant until his death, serving as head of security for the entire operation while reporting directly to Quinn rather than Beck. This positioning allowed Quinn to maintain surveillance on Beck himself, ensuring the businessman couldn't regain control or betray the operation to authorities. Paulie, the imposing figure played by Olivier Richters, operates as Beck's personal bodyguard but ultimately answers to Quinn. His intimidating physical presence serves as a constant reminder to Beck of the consequences of non-compliance, while also providing muscle for enforcement when necessary. Paulie's loyalties clearly lie with Quinn, as demonstrated by his willingness to force Beck to comply with Quinn's demands, regardless of how cruel or unreasonable they might be. Beck maintains nominal authority over some aspects of the business, including hiring decisions for his household staff, explaining how Annette gained access as an undercover ATF agent. However, this limited autonomy exists only at Quinn's discretion, with Beck's suggestions subject to Quinn's final approval. as seen when Beck proposes Reacher as Duke's replacement, but must defer to Quinn's judgment on the matter. Beyond his core operation, Quinn maintains relationships with external contractors for specialized tasks, particularly those requiring plausible deniability. When Quinn discovers potential threats to his operation, he outsources assassination attempts rather than using his regular personnel. This strategy becomes evident in Episode 6, when gunmen target both a Special Investigation Unit member who helped Reacher run Quinn's plates and Neagley at her private detective office. These hitmen operate separately from the main smuggling business, creating distance between their actions and Quinn's organization. This compartmentalization serves multiple purposes. It maintains operational security by limiting how much any individual knows about the overall operation, provides Quinn with deniability if the hitmen are captured, and allows his core personnel to focus on their primary responsibilities without diversion. However, it also introduces vulnerabilities, as these contractors lack the detailed knowledge and tactical skill of Quinn's regular operatives, leading to failures like the unsuccessful attempt on Neagley's life. The foundation of Quinn's operation utilizes Beck's legitimate rug importation business as cover for weapons trafficking. This front company provides both the infrastructure for moving contraband and a plausible explanation for international shipping activities that might otherwise attract attention. The actual smuggling operation faces significant logistical challenges, including weather-dependent shipping routes through the Red Sea. These external factors introduce vulnerabilities that Quinn cannot directly control, creating pressure points that increase his paranoia and aggression toward Beck and others when delays occur. The Russian mob financing adds a time-sensitive element to the operation, with Quinn's survival dependent on completing a major sale to repay his debt to Takeover. This financial pressure influences every aspect of the operation, from security protocols to personnel management, as Quinn grows increasingly desperate to meet his payment deadline. Quinn's operation represents a significant evolution from the antagonists of previous Reacher seasons. While Season 1's Kleiner family maintained a veneer of legitimate business and community standing, and Season 2's Mysterious AM operated through proxies with clinical detachment, Quinn combines ruthless violence with tactical intelligence in a more personal way. What distinguishes Quinn from these predecessors is his direct involvement in violence. Unlike previous masterminds who delegated brutality to underlings, Quinn has personally committed torture and murder, as seen in his killing of Dominique Cole. This willingness to get his hands dirty makes him more unpredictable and dangerous than previous antagonists who maintained emotional distance from their criminal activities. Quinn's military intelligence background also sets him apart from previous villains. While other antagonists had resources or connections, Quinn possesses the same tactical training and knowledge as Reacher himself, creating a more evenly matched adversary. His ability to structure his operation using counterintelligence principles makes penetrating his organization more challenging than previous criminal enterprises Reacher has dismantled. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Quinn's operation is its psychological foundation. Rather than building loyalty through financial incentives or shared ideology, Quinn maintains control purely through fear and intimidation. Even his closest associates serve him primarily out of self-preservation rather than genuine commitment to his leadership or vision. This fear-based management creates both strengths and weaknesses in his organization. While fear generates immediate compliance, it also breeds resentment and potential betrayal when opportunities arise. Beck's willingness to share information with Reacher demonstrates how quickly Quinn's associates might turn against him if given sufficient protection or incentive. Quinn's memory loss regarding Reacher adds another psychological dimension to the operation. Operating without knowledge of his near-death experience at Reacher's hands creates a blind spot in Quinn's otherwise meticulous security consciousness. This memory gap potentially explains why he accepted Reacher into his operation with relatively minimal vetting, a rare lapse in judgment that may prove fatal as the season progresses. Xavier Quinn's criminal enterprise represents the most sophisticated and personally motivated threat Reacher has faced across the series. Built through violence rather than business acumen, maintained through fear rather than loyalty, and operating under intense financial pressure from Russian mob creditors, the operation combines immediate danger with structural vulnerabilities that Reacher can potentially exploit. As the season progresses toward its conclusion, Quinn's desperation to complete his crucial sale before Takeover's deadline will likely create increasing opportunities for Reacher to dismantle this criminal network from within. Drop a comment below sharing which villain you find most compelling in Season 3. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into your favorite shows.